Hi everybody, I'm Tony Sanchez, and the book I chose to read this week was How to Steal a Dog by Barbara O'Connor. And when I first read this, or when I first selected this book, I had no idea that it was going to be such a touching story. I thought it was just going to be, just maybe a funny book on stealing a dog or something like that. But it was actually a wonderful story, and I definitely recommend this for all teachers to read to their students. This is a book that I would definitely have in my classroom, and um, it is a picture book, and I would just begin by saying that kind of a sad story. Um, it's about a young girl, her little brother, and her mother. The three are actually living in a car. They lost their apartment, they lost their home after their dad had left the family. And basically, the two children, they attend school. They have to wash up in convenience stores. Their mother works two jobs to support them and to try to get their own apartment someday. And basically, their mother's just keeping them in the car while she's at work, sending them to school, um, washing them up very little, changing their clothes very little. Um, the young girl's name is Georgina, and her little brother's name is Toby. Well, Georgina goes to school. Her hair is not brushed, her clothes are not cleaned, and after a few days, her friend um, Luana, she's noticing some things. She's noticing her hair's not brushed. She's noticing she's wearing the same clothes over and over, and um, Georgina, very prideful that she is, she just keeps it to herself, doesn't really tell anybody what's going on, just acts like everything's normal. But she's really hurting inside. So one day, Luana starts pressuring Georgina and bugging her, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? I noticed you wore the same shirt yesterday, your hair's not brushed. And one day after school, the two are talking, and she's just pressuring, not letting it go. And her brother Toby walks up and says, "Mom's working late tonight. She said that we have to, eat the macaroni and cheese that's left in the cooler." Well, right then and there, she just kind of opened up to her friend Luana and told her what was going on, and didn't really say everything until Luana says, "Hey, I noticed your dad hasn't been around for a while." Well, Georgina opened up, she started crying, and then she told her everything. And she made her pinky promise that she wasn't going to tell anybody, not even her mother. Well, that night, they're sleeping in the car, and I think it was around 10 o'clock or something. Um, her mom comes to the car, and she wakes up. She gets out of the car and says, "Mom, we're not living like this no more." She has an open discussion with her mother. Her mother, just tells them, "I'm working two jobs. We'll get an apartment soon." Well, the next day, Georgina comes up with this plan of stealing a dog and um, turning it in for the reward money, which was going to bring $500. And she was going to give it to her mom, to help her get an apartment. Well, she ends up going through with it, stealing the dog. Well, she realizes after a conversation with somebody, she realizes that that's not the way to go about. She returns the dog, explains what she did and why she did it, and eventually, she was her mom had found a roommate, and the three had got to move into an apartment. And it's pretty much the story. Didn't go into much detail, but that's just kind of the basics of it. And I feel that kids can learn a lot from um, reading this story. It's pretty much from ages, I'd say, 8 to 12, somewhere around there. You know, it's um, it's just a real life story. Younger kids, I don't think, would be interested in it. They would probably, lose interest and stop reading it. Um, it doesn't have talking animals or anything that appeals to them. But as far as older kids, this is a great story. Um, they can learn to, no matter how life is going for them, just patience is the key. Just keep your nose clean, keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it'll all work out in the end. This is, unfortunately a sad story that many children have to go through each year, and it's not their fault. Many of them might think it's their fault, especially like if the dad walked out on them. Kids might think, is it my fault that dad left? I would just tell them right now 100% no. It's not their fault. Sure, the father still loves you. He just had to leave, for stuff that was going on in his own life. Well, I think they can also learn that, a deal about friendship. Opening up, telling your friends your problems is helpful. You don't want to tell that kid that has the big mouth everything, but, just talking about things is very helpful. Not letting it, bury inside you. That is very unhealthy and could cause problems down the road. Um, Stealing is not the answer. Definitely, stealing is not the answer. She was just helping her mom. I realized that, but she knew she was doing bad. That's why she had returned the dog. But all in all, this book teaches many life lessons. Um, and this is definitely a book that I would have in my classroom. Well, I hope you liked my book review, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.